Okay, I'm going to give you a quick little tutorial on hand stitching because not everyone has a sewing machine nor wants a sewing machine. So to start out, you need a hand needle. And the hand needle, it's sharp at one end and there is a hole at the top for your thread versus a sewing machine needle. So the sewing machine needle has a hole here at the bottom. It's sharp. The point is here, and then it has a rounded and flat edge on the back of it. So you want your hand needle, you need some thread. Your thread, for the most part, you can use fray check on it, or if you just cut your thread on an angle, it helps to get rid of some of the frays, and it is easier for you to put the thread through the eye of the needle. And if you're having problems with this part, there are needle threaders that you can buy that will help you do this. So I start out, I want to double my thread. I have the thread in the eye of my needle here, and I'm just going to pull the edge that is cut already and pull myself a nice length. Depends on your job. If you pull too much, you don't want your thread too long because it'll tend to get tangled as you sew. So for me, I have probably about a good 18 to 20 inches of thread. So I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to take the end of it and I'm going to make a knot with that. Okay, so you have to make sure you put a knot at the end of your thread, because if you don't, once you start sewing, the thread just comes right through when your stitches come out. And I'm going to start out by just doing a basic running stitch. Start on this, just start on the back side so that my knot is there and I don't see it. It just depends on what you're doing. A basic running stitch, you just go in the front, you're on the other side. I'm just going to feel for it to make sure I'm in the right place and come back through. Okay, just go in. And depending on what you're doing, you might want your stitches smaller so that you have a tighter stitch. Just depends on what you're doing. So a running stitch, it's just a basic in and out stitch. Okay. Often what I do for my running stitch, if I have to do one, rather than going in and out, I just do it all in one. Go in, just kind of almost sort of gathering it up, and then pull my thread. Once you're done, to make your knot, just kind of pull up a few of the threads of the fabric with that loop, put my needle through it, and I do this about 3 or 4 times, and that creates a good knot for me. And here's your stitch.